Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jamie Wyndham. I play bass, I write music, I produce music and compose stuff for film and TV sometimes when it presents itself. And yeah, thanks for hanging out on the channel and checking it out. I know what you're thinking. You're like, whoa, a video on the channel without a bass in his hand covering a song. Yes, different look today. We're doing something different. The name of this video is Simplifying the Nashville Number System, specifically for bass players. So I've picked up a lot of knowledge and just experience along my journey as a bass player. And I thought, I would at least like to impart my somewhat half-assed thought out ideas and share them with you guys as far as what I've learned and how I look at things and how I experience things and all that. So yeah, that's what this video is. So let's get started. I'm gonna get my bass and I'm just gonna walk straight through it. It's pretty simple the way I approach the Nashville Number System, how I remember what the Nashville Number System is. And then yeah, once you get this nailed down, it opens up a lot as far as like music theory and learning songs quickly, and you start to understand how chords feel and certain and once you feel that chord, you're like, oh, that's the 4 chord. I know that's the 4 chord because that makes me feel this way. And then you know exactly where it is on the neck because I'm about to teach you how that works. So yeah, I'm gonna get my bass and we'll walk through it. All right, the Nashville Number System. My approach is pretty simple with most things on the bass. I view everything in shapes. So repetitive shapes up and down the neck that, obviously repeat in all positions. And that's basically how I approach the Nashville Number System as well. So I'm gonna be working in D major, key of D. And I'm just, for this video, I'm sticking to the major scale specifically. So key of D, here we go. So all the number system is we're giving names to the notes in the scale numerically and chronologically, essentially. What that means is the first note in the scale is the 1 note, the last note in the scale repeats. You can call it the 8, you can call it the 1 again because it's the octave. So if I'm in the key of D, D is going to be the 1, which is right here. And I'm going to explain the shapes to you as I get through this part. So major scale, we're just going to be primarily working in major scale right now as well. There's some tips that I'll tell you when I get to minor scales and stuff, but right now, typical major scale, D major. So you got D is 1, E is 2, F sharp is 3, G is 4, A is 5, B is 6, C sharp is 7, and then the octave 8, or you can restart it and say 1. Typically when people are calling the Nashville Number System, it just restarts. So 1, no one's really calling an 8. At least I've never experienced anyone calling an 8, so you would just restart and say 1. So you're back at the 1. So that's essentially the foundation of the Nashville Number System, okay? It's just essentially giving each note in the scale its own number, and it's chronological, so it makes sense. The second note in the scale is the E, and that's the 2. The third note in the scale is the F sharp, and that's the 3, so on and so forth. So once you get that down, you can start looking at shapes when you're playing songs. So if I'm in the key of D, and when I see shapes, this is what I'm talking about. You find your 1, and if you go up a string, same fret, that's going to be the 5. It's going to be the 5 everywhere. It's always going to be the 5. It's never not going to be the 5. So if I'm in E, and I go up, that's the 5. It's a B. So there's your first shape right there. 1, 5. Now, if we go up a string and back 2 frets, we got 1, 4. If we go up a string and up 2 frets, we got 1 6. And this is major key always. This shape will always, if I'm down here on A, that's the 5, that's the 4, that's the 6. So that's kind of your, 4, 5, 6, 1, pretty common chords with that. 99% of songs are going to have some formulation of those 4 chords in them. So yeah, you just expand it from there. So if that's your 1, 2 frets up is always going to be your 2. That's your 2 in the major scale. So there's your 2. If you go another 2 frets up, that's going to be your 3. Always going to be your 3 in the major scale. So 1, 2, 3. Now you could also get to the 3 by remembering where your 4 is, and it's always going to be a half step down. So if this is your 1, that's always going to be your 3. So like 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. And then that also goes for, octaves and stuff as far as shapes go. So if this is your 1, up a string, up 2 frets is your 5. Obviously, this is very prevalent in country music. You could rock back and forth between and then. So yeah, that's what I mean by shapes. And then you just expand out that, like if you're on a 6 chord, up 2 frets is the 7, and then up 1, you're back to the 1. So that's essentially what I mean when I say shapes, is these patterns repeat no matter what key you're in. If you're in the major key, they're going to repeat. So if I'm in A and I'm up here and I want to get to a 3, I could either go here, I could go here, I could go here, which is probably the easiest, which is another shape to remember. So your 1, you go down a string, down a half step, that's always going to be your 3. 4, 5, 6. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm meaning by when I'm talking shapes. Now when you get into minor keys, this is going to change a little bit. It's always going to be dependent on who you're playing with, what their preference is, and all this stuff. I like to find the relevant key of a minor key, which means if it's typically in, let's say it's let's stay in D, the song's in B minor, the equivalent to B minor is going to be D major. Is going to be its major equivalent, and that becomes the 6. So that's kind of how I would call it, is I would find the relevant key in a major key. And listen, I'm not a music theory expert. I've unlocked everything I've done through my playing. It's never led me astray with that. You just need to make sure that whatever that minor key is, it's actually the 6 chord and not say like the 2 chord, because then that would be different. If this is the 2 chord and this is the 1, so that's the 1 chord. So you just have to really listen to it and understand how these, notes feel and how it's structured and all that stuff. So that's the video. I hope it makes sense. Again, rewatch this if you, hopefully I did a good job explaining it. When it comes to bass, I lean heavily on the shapes of things. And yeah, you just keep learning and understand your octaves and stuff like that, and it just opens up a lot. So if you're in the key of D and someone says, hey, I need a 6-5, 6-5-1-4 progression, and you're in the key of D, that shape. You just, if you hit the right note, hit the right note. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. It's a quick video. It's a little something different, just imparting my knowledge that I've collected over the years here on YouTube, and yeah, just some new content to put up. Hopefully you guys find it valuable. I'm going to go give my kid a book now because he's supposed to be napping and he's not. So catch you later.